Welcome, everybody. It's so nice to see you again. My name is Lisa Stenerson Kramer. This is my husband, Scott Kramer, and this is our little dog, Luna. And this is the Devoted Dad podcast. So it's been an interesting time for Canadians. We've been having to adapt. Let's put it that way, right? We've been having to adapt. There's a lot of stuff going on with our neighbor to the south. And, a lot of Canadians are feeling really stressed out about changes that are coming our way, right? But we wanted to talk a little bit today about how we as Canadians need to respond and not react, right? And we need to respond from a place that's a healthy place, right? So one of the things we've been kind of talking about is codependency. And how Canadians have been a bit codependent with our neighbors to the south, right? So what can we do during this time, honey, so that we can respond to what's happening, keep ourselves sane, keep ourselves calm, right? And come up with the best solutions. So maybe first identifying, what is codependency to start off with? What does that actually mean?
Well, codependency is when you're in a relationship with another person. It's where you're depending on what a person, how they think or feel, or what they give, or what they say, or about you. And you're trying to control that person and what they do in all those things towards you, in order for you to try to control an outcome. And usually that comes from when we were small children. We've developed characteristics and strategies in order for a lot of people, and how to survive very uncomfortable situations.
Right.
And a lot of times, a child will become either a people pleaser, a caretaker, or a rescuer in order to be able to gain approval or acceptance or validation from their parents. So they end up carrying those characteristics from when they were a child into their adulthood and in their relationships as an adult. So what worked as a child doesn't work as an adult, right?
And you could also, because we're talking about Canada, right? A nation and everybody always says around the world, oh, Canadians are so nice, they're so polite, right? But essentially, what is that? That's people-pleasing behavior. So Canadians kind of have had this reputation as being, this way for a long, long time. Now we're coming up to a situation where we really have to be able to stand on our own 2 feet, right? It's almost like it's a time of coming of age for Canada as a nation, right? To step out from the shadow, right, of our neighbor to the south and really shine, as our own sovereign nation. So, like you say, codependency is really just kind of putting everything about the other person or the other being, whatever it happens to be. Canadians, we can't do that anymore, right? That's not going to work.
Well, let me straighten it out. I mean, there's nothing, it is quite noble and quite, it's a wonderful, value and principle to be kind, compassionate, loving, joyful, helpful, being all of those things as an individual. But we have to look at it, why, or what is our intent behind that? Behind being that as an individual or that as a nation. Is our intent to try to control an outcome with another person? Is it a controlling technique to get them to give us what we think we need? Or are we doing it because that's who we are? right? And that's our nature. And we give it freely without any expectations in return. And we're not trying to control an outcome with another person. So it's very good to live in those higher levels of consciousness, but really, what is the intent behind it? What is the context that we're coming from? So one thing about being codependent is thinking that we have power by being a victim and controlling, right? Feeling the victim and being controlling. And we feel that we don't have power if we don't do that, right? So how can we gain our power without being a victim and controlling?
Yeah. And that's exactly what we need to do right now, right? Because as Canadians, we can't just fall apart because, our neighbors have changed some of the way, we interact. They're entitled to make the changes they're entitled to. Really, we can't, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but we can't force them. We can't, I feel like
we can't manipulate people to
or control
others to do what we want. I mean, I had an instance before where, I was dating a lady and she had a son, and he said, "Scott, what is the secret to women?" And I thought about it and I said, well, you can't be a bully and you can't be a pansy.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're both trying to manipulate an outcome from somebody. Like a bully will be like, "You will love me. You will do what I want or else. You better behave or else."
Yeah.
And a pansy, being people pleasing, and trying to rescue and people please and caretake, is trying to manipulate an outcome from that person. So what happens in that scenario? In both scenarios are just as bad, because you're trying to manipulate someone to give you what you want, that you think will make you feel fulfilled. You're trying to control another person. So they're just as bad.
Yeah.
And they're just as destructive to each other. So I said to him, I said, well, we need to find our middle.
Yeah.
We need to find our center of who we are.
Yeah.
Where we are a balanced individual. We're not a bully and we're not a pansy, but we're balanced. And we have found a middle path on how we can respond to people, where we feel comfortable within ourselves, that you do you and I'll do me.
Yeah. And that's brilliant, because that's, for us as Canadians, instead of panicking, feeling stressed out, because we can't control a situation, like you say, going to that middle path and deciding, okay, I'm going to respond, and I'm going to respond from a calm place. I'm not even going to attempt to try and manipulate and control or worry about, you know what I mean? I'm just going to do what I need to do, what is good for me. And so Canadians right now, the worry and the panic about all of these variables that we can't control and that we never will be able to control, it's not helpful. No. It's just not helpful.
So what we need to do, and by being aware of that we are powerless over people, and by controlling and playing the victim, our lives have become unmanageable. And we can see that. Then we're able to detach with love.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? We can detach with love. And we don't hate American people.
No, absolutely not. Don't.
I mean, they're going through something right now.
Yeah, and fair enough.
They're going through something.
That's life.
And right? As Canadians, we need to detach, allow them to deal with their own issues.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to look within ourselves, and we need to see what is the context or intention of who we are.
Yeah.
From what place are we coming? Are we able to have the courage to be able to let go of being a victim and controlling? Are we able to have that courage to do that? And once we are able to have that courage and we can have that integrity to be honest with ourselves and we can let go of the noise, the propaganda, the ideology, the positions, the beliefs, the thoughts, the emotions, all that noise that surrounds codependency and that fear that we can't do this alone. We must need the Americans to buy our stuff, otherwise we can't do it on our own. Once we can let go of that fear and we can get to the divine reality, the truth, is that then the solutions become very simple, become very clear and very simple. And if we come from the context of why we do these nice things, and we be Canadians, and it comes across as authentic, we're not trying to manipulate an outcome from people. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to control anybody. Mm-hmm. And that we're authentically loving, joyful people, courageous people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intellectual people. Then people will be naturally attracted to us.
That's right. Yeah.
And and people will want to help us.
Yeah.
The solutions will appear to us.
Yeah.
But we need to detach from all of that. We need to look at who we are as individuals and have the courage to face that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but yeah, so my friend, let's try not to get caught up in our own minds, in our own consciousness of all this noise that's going on. Mm-hmm. Let's practice these principles in our daily lives of being able to look at who we are as individuals. Mm-hmm. Have the courage to see, to look within.
Yeah. And just to acknowledge, Canadians, we are good people. We are strong people. We have value, right? Mm-hmm. We have value. And we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. There's a lot of different nations out there that want to do business with us, right? Mm-hmm. And the opportunities that we're getting right now probably are some good ones. Things that we've been needing to look at with our own issues have come mm-hmm. to light as a result of the things that have been going on, right?
Yeah. The other day, the German ambassador was interviewed by a reporter on CTV, and she said, where are our friends? Mm. And do they have our back? And the German ambassador turned to her and said, Europe has your back.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So, it wouldn't. Are they saying that to the Americans? No, they're saying that to us, the Canadians, because they see who we are as a people.
And it's really none of our business what's going on mm-hmm. with the Americans and their relationships. Mm-hmm. We just need to focus it on us right now as mm-hmm. Canadians not being codependent, mm-hmm. right? Being interdependent, right? So not being totally dependent, but being interdependent, meaning we can stand on our own and we can also work together, right? Mm-hmm. As it works for each situation. We're mm-hmm. going to continue to obviously be trading with the United States and all sorts of stuff. It's just parameters have changed. Mm-hmm. And that's, just something that you have to deal with in life, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess what we really wanted to kind of talk about tonight was just this idea that codependency happens on an individual level, but it can also happen at a nation level, right? And as Canadians, what we're being called to do right now is to just step out of the codependency. Like you said, we don't want to be, a bully. We don't want to be a pansy. We want to take that middle path, which is healthy, responding rather than reacting, right? And moving forward in a really positive way. So that's just something that we felt like sharing tonight, right?
And let the miracles happen. If we come from the right context or the right intention and we have courage, then we're going to be okay because of who we are as a nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we work together. We cooperate and we work together.
That's right.
Right. And Canadians have been coming together more and more over the last while.
Oh my goodness. The unity in our country is just, I've never seen it in my 56 years of life. We're breaking down all kinds of internal trade barriers. We are, we're coming together as a nation.
And let's keep doing that.
And let's keep doing that. Let's look out for each other here.
Yeah.
Let's find new friends and new allies that have the same values and principles as us.
Yeah. And we'll just attract that if we're in the right place. So, so Canadians, for tonight, we'll sign off. And we're just wishing everybody, a wonderful evening, and also just to really, to know that you're not alone and that we are on a path that we can get through, because we're going to do it together and we're going to do it strong and united. Yeah. And we just need to keep going on that path. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, my love.
All right. Thank you.
So my friends, we love you lots.
Yeah.
And let's stick together and let's love one another and let's stay devoted, my friends. Devoted Dad.